Well, this is probably the only time we'll see Jayden Daniels and the other starters before week 1. So what do you need to pay attention for on Monday night? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. It is a bright and sunny Sunday afternoon out here in the nation's capital, just about 10 minutes south, right up at the tip of Northern Virginia. I'm waiting patiently for this Monday Night Football game. I'm cool during the preseason or during the regular season when we get the primetime spot, but in the preseason, the Monday night game feels a little unnecessary. Like, I just want to see my team. I want to be able to talk about them, but we're hanging on. We're waiting around. Of course, everyone remembers what happened the last time these two teams faced off. The Bengals fell into an 0-3 hole that they never recovered from, while Jayden Daniels got his first career passing touchdown and announced himself on the world stage. Everybody knew just 3 games into his career that was that dude. By the way, fun trivia fact, in case you've ever forgotten, this is going to come up 20, 25 years down the line from now. Jayden Daniels' first career passing touchdown. Do you remember who caught it? Wasn't Terry McLaurin, wasn't Zach Ertz, wasn't Brian Robinson Jr., wasn't Noah Brown. It was Trent Scott, a backup swing tackle. That's who caught Jayden's first touchdown. So make sure you remember that. It'll come in handy for your trivia night one day down the line. Okay, so with this preseason game approaching, of course, we're going to go over who is playing, who's not, how long are the starters going to be out there, and what are the biggest matchups to be watching. Before we jump into all of that, though, guys, if you are a new viewer here, please hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to get to 1,500 before this game starts, which means we've got about 28 hours to get there, and we're about 66 subscribers away from the last time I checked. If you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate the heck out of you. If you guys want to support me, want to support the channel, support the Commanders, hit the like button. That is the easiest way to do this. And as always, leave me your thoughts on everything I say as we go through here. So just to reiterate from yesterday's videos, the starters will be playing in this game. Jayden Daniels and the others are expected to get a few series, according to Dan Quinn. However, some players have already been ruled out. Those players are Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Marcus Mariota, Laremy Tunsil, Zach Ertz, Sam Cosmi, Brandon Coleman, Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, Jordan McGee, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and Jonathan Jones. The Bengals will also be playing their starters well into the first quarter per their head coach, Zac Taylor. The Bengals have had these slow starts for I don't know how many years, like 3, 4, 5 years in a row. They've started 0-2. And the last couple of years, they haven't been able to make the playoffs in part because of those slow starts. So they're getting the number ones more reps. Of course, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they looked outstanding against the Eagles when they played last weekend. But you know what? Tanner McKee and the Eagles' backup offense against the Bengals' first-string defense. On their first drive, 9 plays, 75 yards, a touchdown. Then they go 6 plays for 47 yards and a field goal. The Commanders' offense, even though it is preseason, even though Terry and Ertz and Tunsil aren't there and a couple of other guys, the offense needs to at least look competent. That's how I'm evaluating it. The production, like if you get a drop from a third-string receiver, okay, that's fine. But is the protection good? Can Jayden get the ball there? Does the concept make sense? Is the receiver running the route right? That's what I'm going to be looking for when I say the offense has to be competent. Now, what about the actual matchups and battles and the actual themes that you should be paying attention to? I've got 5 right here. So let me start with number 5. Arguably the most important thing that I'm going to be watching, which receivers start the game and who gets on the field early. In that vein, who makes the big play? Are the first 3, I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a guess right now. I'm going to guess that the first 3 receivers on the field are Luke McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and Jalen Lane. That's what I'm guessing. Is that how it pans out? Do they get the entire first drive? How long does it take for Tay Martin or Ja'Cory Brooks to get out on the field? What about a Michael Gallup? What about a Chris Moore? Stories to pay attention to, because although the coaches might not tell you who's winning and losing the receiver battle, the depth chart that they released again, which I posted a video the first time they put it out. This second release was basically the exact same thing. There's no point in talking about it. It includes no relevant information. But they can hide their thoughts there. They can't hide it when you see who's on the field. And once they get out there, who comes up with the catches? Ja'Cory Brooks, one of the biggest reasons that we've been talking about him as Commanders fans so much, despite him being an undrafted free agent, is when he got on the field in that first preseason opener, he made plays. He got 5 catches for 50-something yards, caught every ball that went his way. And against the Patriots defense that looked superior to everything the Commanders offense had, he was the one player who actually looked like he could get open and get some real yardage. And he was also fighting to get yards after the catch. So whether it is Ja'Cory Brooks or it's someone else, whether it's Luke McCaffrey, who a lot of people have been bagging on recently, Jalen Lane, who you've heard DQ and Cliff Kingsbury praise him. Don't know who it's going to be, but we're about to find out. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Number 4, I want to see what is Kain Medrano going to do in his second game. With Dominique Hampton being released and with Jordan McGee not playing, Frankie Lulu and Bobby Wagner can't play every snap of every game. There has to be some linebacker rotation. Now, Nick Bellore is in the room, but he's mostly a special teams guy, and he's even older than Bobby. He's 36 years old, I believe. You got Cam Arnold and a couple of other young guys. Ale Cajo, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Obviously, they just signed Duke Riley, but Kain Medrano, he had his moments in the first preseason game. He also messed up, but there is inexperience there. If you're trading mess ups for flashes of potential, that's the difference between Kain Medrano and Dominique Hampton. Whereas Hampton, there were no great plays, but it was just like, oh gosh, that was bad. And he ends up getting released. Kain did have some pop plays. There was one where he shrugged off the center and was able to make a really nice tackle. There's one where he blew up a gap and stopped a run play. He's got the ability to guard tight ends and running backs in man coverage because he's a converted wide receiver. So keep an eye on him. I'm not suggesting that he's competing for a starting spot or anything. And I also don't think he's at risk of being cut because he's a rookie draft pick this year. But these preseason games could be the difference between, hey, Kain, you're the first guy off the bench in the linebacker room, or, hey, Kain, you're basically never playing this season. So keep an eye on him. Sticking with the defense, how does Jeremy Reaves look? Here's the key in coverage. He really popped last week with that downfield tackling ability, downhill tackling ability. I said that those big plays, those big hits where he comes crunching down into the flat, blow up a run play, a short pass, a screen, whatever, they're almost like special teams tackles because the offensive player is just turning and starting to look upfield and he's running down like it's a kickoff or a punt return or whatever. Well, how's he going to do in defense? How's he going to hold up in coverage? He got an interception at practice earlier this week, but this is the concern. We know he can tackle. We know he's aggressive. We know he can do all of that. But can he read his keys? Can he stay disciplined in his zone? Can he actually make a play on the ball? All of that is important. And yes, it is the preseason. So if he gets burned, I'm not looking at that as like, oh my God, the Commanders defense is doomed. Their pass, how are they going to stop the pass? They're not going to be able to do any of that. Not worried about that at all. But that is going to be the determination of if Jeremy Reaves is only a special teams guy or he's actually able to hold up in pass coverage, which means getting on the field. Joe Witt Jr. said that Reaves has earned the right to be the third safety. He would love to get him on the field in some dime packages, but these are the moments where we have to see that. So Jeremy Reaves, as a captain, as an all-pro, the pressure is still on, but I believe in him. He got a green box in my last video, my last game reaction, which if you guys didn't see, you'll be getting it tomorrow after the game. So make sure you do check that out as well. Number 2, storyline to watch. Who makes the splash play on the defensive line? If there is one to be had. I'm going to assume over the course of 4 quarters, somebody will make a play, stuffing the run, getting a sack, forcing a fumble, whatever. Who is it going to be? Now, against the Patriots, it was Johnny Newton. Him and Jacob Martin ran a little exit stunt. Martin collapses inside. Newton loops to the outside, gets Drake May on the ground. It's a sack fumble. Jacob Martin recovers the ball. That's awesome. That's the potential, the speed, the aggressiveness we've wanted to see from Johnny Newton, and we did actually see it. So if we see Newton again have some big plays, that's like, okay, we were worried about him last year, but maybe this stuff about him injuring his foot and not getting a training camp, maybe that was real, and now that he's actually adapted to the NFL, he's ready to handle the speed, which I do believe there's certainly validity to, but a big play in this game against Joe Burrow and the first stringers would almost prove that. But whether it is Von Miller, Dietrich Wise, actually, is Von even playing? I said he's not playing. Okay, so Dietrich Wise, Javon Kinlaw, somebody, let me see a play. And it could be good if it's against the run. It could be good if it's against the pass, whatever. But I want to know what this defensive line is going to offer, because I know what the linebackers have. I know what Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu have. I know that the defense is going to be playing a lot of cover one. So although Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Amos and Mike Sainristil's coverage abilities, we're not going to know exactly where they're going to fall on that scale, but we know they're going to be left in man coverage and somewhat put out on an island so that the defense can bring extra pressure. But what's the defensive line going to do? Are they going to be able to create that pressure? Are they going to be able to collapse the pocket? Are they going to be able to get penetration and win the running downs? Or is all that going to go out the window? And are the Commanders going to find themselves playing from behind / being forced to go for fourth down every offensive drive because they can't get a stop? So that's what I'll be looking for with the defensive line there. And then number one on my list here, can Jayden Daniels look comfortable and escape healthily, escape injury-free from this game? Jayden needs reps. I believe that to play football, to get ready to play football, you have to play football. So Jayden Daniels and the other members of the offense and the defense, the first stringers, they all got to get out there. A boxer can do as much preparation as they want, but until they actually get punched in the face, they don't really know what it feels like. They're not weathered. I view football as largely the same. With all that being said, I'm scared. I'm not scared about Jayden Daniels, like his ability or anything. I'm scared that Laremy Tunsil, Sam Cosmi, and Brandon Coleman are all not playing in this game. Again, I fully believe Jayden's got to get reps, but without 3 of your top 5 offensive linemen, you're putting him at an elevated risk of danger. Preseason games are mostly meaningless. I won't go to say they're completely meaningless, because for some guys, it's the difference between making a roster and having to find a new career field. For others, it's getting the game sharpness so you can be good to go in week 1 versus being a little rusty. For Jayden, he's a young guy. Like, we're not worried about him at all. It's more about just getting him his timing. But if you're not affording him the best protection possible, you are putting him in an unnecessary risk of danger. So whoever's out on the field with that first string offensive line, make sure that you protect him. Jayden, don't run in the preseason unless there's literally nobody around. Slide, go out of bounds, do all the smart things. Get rid of the football quickly if you have to. Don't take unnecessary shots from your blind side trying to deliver a tight window throw. Don't do any of that. And then on the piece about him looking comfortable, without Terry McLaurin, without Noah Brown, without these 3 offensive linemen, without Zach Ertz, I'm not saying the offense has to look great. If the first stringers are out there for 2 series, I'm not saying they have to have 2 scoring drives. That's not at all what I'm saying. But can he navigate the pocket well? Can he go through his progressions? Can he not look rushed, look on time? Those are all things that will show me he is comfortable. And then it's going to be up to him and Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn to scheme up / make adjustments over the course of the regular season to account for, say, Terry McLaurin not being there, or if Bill or B-Rob get injured, overcome that, offensive line get injured, et cetera, et cetera. But that's a difference. You can be comfortable and unproductive, but if you're uncomfortable, it's going to be very hard to be productive at all this season. So those are the biggest things that I'm going to be looking for. I will come out with another video tomorrow morning before the game. And then, like I said, I'll be posting my game recap as well. I actually haven't quite figured out if I'm going to post it at around midnight after the game ends or just early on Tuesday morning. But regardless, guys, make sure you do hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on my daily uploads. And of course, you will find that video waiting for you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you are watching for in particular. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.